All right, day number 64, Friday, July 5th. Packed up and ready to go. This was the campsite that Riley and I were able to stay at last night. Our tent was right here where my pack is. It's not good practice, but after resupplying in Waynesboro and packing out all the food, my pack was so heavy that I decided to put some of the stuff in grocery bags, and I'm just carrying those grocery bags in my hand, and that makes my pack a little bit lighter, which makes it easier on my shoulders. So that's not good practice, but it's temporary. Riley and I will eat the food down quickly, and I won't need to do that for a long time. All right, so it's late. It's definitely late. I just let Riley and I sleep. Primarily, I let myself sleep, and Riley slept along with me. I just needed to catch up on sleep from not getting sleep the night before. And we're finally ready to go, so we'll see how the day goes. All right, we'll check in later. Bye for now. All right, Riley and Van Gogh here, checking in with an update. Where we just stopped a short while ago for a break, and the day is going fine. We are at this is a cool break spot because there's like all this flat ground here. This is the AT right here. We came from that direction and we're going in that direction. But this is one place where the AT intersects with another trail in Shenandoah National Park. It's called the Rip Rap Trail. And there's these cool, this is something unique to Shenandoah. There's these cool marker posts that are made of concrete, and they just have these simple metal bands attached at the top, which have helpful information. So like as you're coming up here, this just indicates that the Rip Rap Trail goes that way, and then it indicates what you'll come across as you continue along the Rip Rap Trail. And then this here says that we're on, this way is north on the AT, this way is south. And we have Black Rock Gap coming in up in 2.2 miles, Black Rock Springs coming up in 3.4, Browns Gap in 6.2, Loft Mountain Campground in 9.5. So these are nice markers to help orient yourself. I was just checking our guidebook here, and it looks like we are, so Rip Rap Trail right here branches to west at 879.4, and so that means we are 3.2 miles away from the next shelter, which is called Black Rock Hut, and that is our next water source. I know, Riley, I know. Anyway, so I think we've done about 7.5 or 7.6, somewhere around there, miles on the day so far. It's been another hot day. But we've run into a few hikers, met a guy and his mom who are hiking together, named Mighty Mouse and Minnie Mouse. We were hiking with them earlier in the day. They got ahead of us because Riley and I decided to take a break, and then more recently there was this other guy named Jim who was giving Riley energy, and Riley's just been hiking hard, so I decided to, you can see how hard he's breathing. He wants to continue, but I decided it would be a good time to take a break and give him some food and water, and we can continue on. I know, Riley's just he's tired, and he's just he's not doing that because he can't hike. He's just upset that I'm not letting him hike, and that he's tied to the post here. I had some apple cinnamon oatmeal earlier today during our last break. That was one of the new flavors that I got at the Kroger in Waynesboro for my last resupply, so it was cool to try out a new flavor. Obviously, it's not the first time I've had it, but it's the first time on this hike that I've had apple. Or no, I did have it once before, but first time in a while that I've had it. And there's another hiker coming up here, so I will cut the camera off and we'll check in later. All right, bye for now. All right, so Riley and I made it to Black Rock Hut, and we're just coming down to get water. Riley's up at the shelter, and this is a beautiful water source, and I have never seen something like this. Oh my gosh, where did it go? I saw there was a lobster here like 2 seconds ago, and it just like must have gone into a hiding place. Nobody's gonna believe me. There was literally like a little tiny brown lobster. It looked exactly like a lobster, and now it's nowhere to be found. Oh man. Alright, well if I see it again, I will try to get a shot of it. Alright, so we are at the Black Rock summit. Black Rock Mountain. There's this like giant rock formation here, and it's about 8 o'clock now, and there's so many hikers here. I mean, so many day hikers. It's a very popular spot. We're gonna try to find a campsite tonight, so hopefully we can get there, and hopefully the rain holds off. All right, check in later. All right, so these are the views from the Black Rock summit on the other side. Very nice, very nice. I don't really have time to enjoy them because we gotta keep on moving. The rain is threatening to just swamp us and get us all wet and uncomfortable, and we still gotta find our campsite. So we're gonna continue on and hope for the best. Hope for the best. All right, check in later. The rain has held off so far, which is pleasant. The trail since leaving Black Rock Summit has been very pleasant. Very just flat trail, easy to walk on. So that's very pleasant. It's always nice to have some easy trail at the end of the day. We're about a mile from Brown's Gap, and I believe there's a campsite about 3/10 of a mile after Brown's Gap, according to Far Out. So that could be our destination tonight, but all right. Hello, this is Van Gogh and Riley here. We are safe and sound in our tent. Just want to close out the day here. So for day number 64, and it was Friday, July 5th, we hiked about 4 miles past the shelter, which was called, I'm forgetting the name here. Black Rock? Yeah, Black Rock Hut. For a while there, everything was named Black Rock. We got to Black Rock Gap, and the whole reason it's named Black Rock is because of Black Rock Mountain. So there was Black Rock Gap, then we started hiking up, got to Black Rock Hut, and then shortly after Black Rock Hut, we continued hiking up and got to the summit area of Black Rock Mountain, which is quite a nice summit. It's got, really, I showed some of it on video. It's got quite a nice rock formation up there, and then opens up to quite a nice view. And there were several people up there, even though it was like late. It was like 8 o'clock, and the weather was threatening to rain. There were several people up there. There's a parking area very close by, which makes it accessible. So the people we saw up there were not thru hikers. They were there to just enjoy the place, and I don't think they had to hike or walk particularly far to get there from their cars. So yeah, it was cool seeing people there, and many of them were happy to see Riley as well. Anyway, so the hike after, after leaving Black Rock Mountain was very, very pleasant and somewhat like easy. Like the terrain was just very, very flat, not rocky at all. It was just, we were able to walk very fast. And I think like I said, we got about 4 miles after the shelter, and we left the shelter at like 7:30 p.m. So we made some good distance in that period of time. We did have to hike in the dark a little bit, but not too long. And I was able to find a campsite. The one I was targeting based on far out. I noticed that someone had already set their tent up there, so I decided to continue on. And I eventually found a campsite, or a place to set up our tent just before this place called Doyle's River Overlook parking area, which is a parking area on Skyline Drive, for cars. And it's an open overlook area where you can get a nice view. So we haven't actually been there yet, because our campsite is, I think, about 1/10 of a mile before there. Basically, I just found a flat area off the trail. It's really not a campsite, but it's a flat enough piece of ground that was not overgrown, or not, it was not overgrown. There were some small little plants, but nothing that I felt prevented me from setting up our tent. So I was definitely glad to find the piece of land, because we were ready to stop for the day. So we hiked about 15.1 miles today. That's Riley snoring in the background there. And made it to mile number 889.6, I believe, according to Far Out. And we are less than 2 miles from Loft Mountain Campground, which is the first established official campground that's maintained by Shenandoah National Park. For those campgrounds, you actually have to pay to tent there, so it's not something I plan to do. But it is, like, all the campgrounds that are maintained by Shenandoah National Park, they're associated with a camp store and also a wayside. A wayside is like a little restaurant that has a grill and can prepare food. So those things are kind of cool. So the first one that we're coming up on is Loft Mountain. There's a campground, and then the camp store is like a couple miles after that. And then the wayside is a little bit after that as well. But not all of them are right on the trail. There's little side trails to the various places. Some of the side trails are like a half mile, or maybe even a mile or longer. So I only plan to go to visit any of these places if the side trail is very short, like 1/10 of a mile or 2/10 of a mile. So I think that's the case for the camp store. So I'll probably visit the camp store tomorrow, and at least use it as a place to fill up on water. Yeah, other than that, I think that's all to report. Riley is sleeping well now. It did not end up raining. Well, I mean, it did not end up raining heavily. It did start
sprinkling a little bit, but nothing, and it didn't continue for long. So I was thankful that we didn't get drenched at all. But the weather, it was another hot one today during the middle of the day, and it cooled off in the evening as the clouds came in and things, it looked like it might rain heavily, but that held off, fortunately. We did get a late start today, as I mentioned earlier, and so we did not get to take advantage of the cool, like the relatively cool morning weather, so I'm much more motivated tomorrow to try to wake up early or earlier and at least get some hiking in before it gets super hot. That would be very nice to do. So I think that's all. Riley's sleeping well. I'm going to get some sleep, and we will check in tomorrow for day number 65. It'll be Saturday, July 6th. Okay. Hope everyone is doing well, and we'll sign off for now. Check in later.